Good afternoon. I have a question. I have a question. How many of you are feeling a little challenged with what you really, really want in the new year? I mean, it's like, do you really know? Give me a yes or no in the comments. Or how many of you wonder why you didn't get what you really wanted this year? Is that something that's going on with you? Give me an answer in the comments. I'd be happy to hear. So welcome and congratulations for being one. My name is Tendai Jordan, and here we are. Here we are again and again in December. This is a great place to be. It's a great time of year, but one of the things that December reminds us of constantly is the new year is coming. And so many of us feel like things are going to be different, things are going to be better. You make resolutions, I set intentions for this new year. So that's what we're going to be talking about today is how to prepare for this new year. There's 3 ways we've been talking about. I have the third for you today. But before I get started, for those of you that don't know, my name is Tendai Jordan, and I'm an embracing a life coach, a transformational facilitator, so to speak. And I help women of a certain age who do too much learn to say no without guilt so they can say yes to themselves and then live fulfilled, to live on purpose. So if this is something that resonates with you, something that, you sounds good to me, I kind of like that, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, okay? And join us every week and when other videos come out. Also, I'm going to invite you to let your like-minded friends know because we like to have fun and get information out and just see how things are improving in our lives. So thank you for that. And so what we're talking about again is 3 ways to really, you got to know so you can have that thing you desire that you want for next year. So the first week in this month, we talked about what do you want? Okay? You got to be clear on what you want. So if you haven't had the opportunity, I'm going to invite you to go and look at that video to see, how to come up with really, really, really what do you want? What's your desire? Last week, we talked about, watch this now, what do you not want? What do you not want to come up or be about in this new year? That's kind of important. And this week, we're talking about the third thing is taking stock. Yeah, this is, some might consider the hard part. Taking stock in yourself, evaluating you. Now, what this does is, I'm going to bring all this together before I close. So stay tuned. Don't jump off if you don't have to. And let's work through all of this. Now, I suggested that we all make a list, okay? And I made my list. I'm working it myself. But things that, if you really want to know how it's like, how do you take stock in yourself? How do you evaluate yourself? Well, we know that the quality of your success is really based on the quality of your questions, the questions you ask yourself. Now, it also requires a level of honesty and vulnerability just for you, just to you, and thinking about and knowing how you are, what things you do and don't do will help you to take stock in if, in fact, you don't get what you don't want get and you get what you want. All right, so that's the point of all this, which means actually you got to do some work. It takes inner work to get things done, to be successful and to get what you want. So what I did as I was working on this project myself, for me, is look at things that about me that I really need to be clear on. I even might want to change some things or improve upon some things. And one of the things I listed that might help you determine how all this is going to work is, are you disciplined? Are you a disciplined person? Do you do the things you say you're going to do in the time that you say you're going to do them, even when you want to do something else? And for me, everything is on a spectrum, a scale. If you're 100% disciplined, hoorah for you. If you're 0% disciplined and you want to improve, then you know where you're starting and you have a scale to get through. So look at your level or where you are on the scale of discipline. Because that's kind of important to getting what you want, don't you think? Taking stock, evaluating yourself. Ask yourself, are you a people pleaser? Do you just want what other people want without considering your own desires? That's kind of important to know. If you are, just do all of this without judgment, okay? Or are you judgmental? Are you a complainer? It's been my experience that sometimes people don't realize they're judgmental or they complain a lot. So maybe you want to ask a friend, am I judgmental or do I complain a lot? And just see if that is you and what that's going to impact when you have to, get when you want to get what you want or when you don't want what you don't want. So there are many questions we can ask ourselves just to dig deep and do that. I'm just going to run over a few of them. I don't have to go into each of them, but these are things that you might use to determine how you're going to be successful. You want to look at maybe what's your fear? What are your fears, if any? How concerned are you about what others say about you? Are you a person that's shy? Is your word true? Can you count on your own word? You know what I mean? Do you believe in yourself? Do you know that you matter? Are you self-reflective? Do you sometimes take a long, long time to make a decision? And then maybe things have dissipated. So those are just a few examples of kind of the comments or the questions you can ask yourself and see as we're putting together this chart, okay? So, like I said, the first week we talked about what you want, second week what you don't want, and today we're talking about taking stock in yourself and being self-reflective, all right? So how does this all work together to get what you want for next year? So I showed you my chart, so I'm going to suggest that you put together a chart with 4 columns. I said 3 last week, so I'm changing that up. 4 columns. In the want column, write 10 things that you want. In the don't want column, write 10 things that you don't want. In the take stock column, the reflective column, write down 10 things that you feel or know about yourself, okay? Just write them down in here. And then in the fourth column are the insights that you gain from what you have worked on. And I'm going to give you a pretty simple example. It doesn't necessarily reflect what you're doing or what I'm doing, but it's just an example of how you're going to work this chart, this information. All right. So for instance, the insight might be, I want to lose 25 pounds, 50 pounds. I want to lose 50 pounds, right? That might be in your want column. In your don't want column is, I don't want to change my diet. I don't want to exercise. And in your take stock self-evaluation column might be, I'm really resistant to change. So the insight might be, just as an example, the insight might be, if I'm resistant to change, I don't want to exercise, but I want to lose 25 pounds. Do I really, really want to lose 25 pounds? It doesn't mean that you don't. It means you might have to really look at the want and make some adjustments. Okay? You have to look at your want and make some adjustments. You might say, well, maybe 10 pounds is good enough for me. Maybe 10 pounds. I could lose 10 pounds if I, maybe walk a little bit. If in your don't want, you don't want to do exercise, you might say, well, maybe what I want is to learn how to really love exercising. So your want changes a little bit. Or you might say, I'll find an exercise or a dance class or a group that I can work, run with or walk with, something that's going to make the exercise fun. And then in your take stock, when you said, I really don't like change, you have to look at who do I talk to, or what should I do to make that go away, make it easier for me to make changes in my life. So that's just an example of how you put this chart together. It's not something that is going to be quickly done. It's something that's going to take time. And then think about this. Once you work on this chart, and it's not something that probably you would do in one sitting, or it might take a few sittings, and it might take a while, okay? But and it could be adjusted as you move. So just give yourself permission to enjoy doing this. Give yourself permission to make the changes, it could be get some people together to do it with you. How about that? That's a great idea. And of course, I'm always available to work with you to see that you get the results that you want always. Embracing your power and transformational facilitator. So just keep that in mind. Contacting me is always a good thing. And then when you see the success, I'm always going to suggest, remember to celebrate you. Remember to celebrate. This is important. It's your life. You matter. So how does that sound? Does that make any sense to you? Does it sound like something you feel like you could do? Please comment and let me know when you come through. If you see this later, whenever you see it, you might see this next year in December, okay? You might see this next year in December. You might see it in February. But whenever it is, you can work the program and make the changes that you want, because what we're talking about is results. We're talking about being successful. We're talking about you growing and living the life that you want to live, the life that you love, the desires of your heart, having time for yourself to focus on you, to start the business, uh, to have fun and time with your family. These are all the results of getting what you want, because I know what you want is good for you and others. So keep that in mind as you're going through this process. And please, I'm going to ask you, I've not done this before, but I'm going to ask you to let me know how it's turning out. Okay, just let me know. That I would love to hear how things went. What was the process? Yeah, okay. I didn't think about that, but right now I really would love to hear how the process worked for you, what the results were, and if there's any questions. You can put them in the comments. You can contact me. And remember, this is Tendai Jordan. This is December, and I am so happy that this year is coming to a close. It was a great year. Grateful for everything that I learned. And next week, I'm going to invite you back again, because we're going to, even though we've covered the 3 ways of getting what you want, getting the results for the next year, I have a bonus week that we're going to be here, and we're going to talk about some actual tools that support you in doing just what we talked about. You know that. You know that. So thank you all. Come see us again, and remember to subscribe.